So I had to learn to, as often as possible, stop fearing dying and focusing more on living. And when I was able to make that paradigm shift in my head and choose to do what I could when I could, that's when I found my hope. My name is Colleen Brunetti, and I'm from Connecticut in the United States. I've been diagnosed with PH for 16 and a half years. So the diagnosis came as a total shock. A lot of patients go doctor to doctor year by year looking for answers. I presented in the ER with shortness of breath because of an unrelated lung condition and was diagnosed within 6 weeks. So when I was first diagnosed, my son was 18 months old. He was just a toddler, and I was very sick. And I would look at him and I would wonder if I was going to live to see him reach kindergarten. I really wasn't sure. And fast forward today, 16 and a half years and an incredible care team and treatments. And this month he graduated from high school, and I was there to see it. And that is just such an incredible gift. So I was diagnosed at 28, like I said, when my son was just a toddler. And the recommendation was immediately to make sure that I never got pregnant again. And that was devastating. I mourned the family that I had dreamed of that I wasn't going to be able to have. And adoption itself was still kind of scary because I didn't know if I would be alive to raise my first child, never mind another one. But as I stabilized and it seemed like maybe I was going to be able to do this for a longer time, we decided to look into adoption. We looked at all the different options: private adoption, going through foster system for children whose parents can't care for them. We looked at surrogacy, and we ultimately decided that we had been through quite a bit, and there were a lot of kids already out there who needed love, and so we chose the foster system, and we were placed with a little tiny 4-pound baby girl whose parents were not well enough to care for her, and we're able to actually adopt her 9 months later. So she is now 9 and doing beautifully. The biggest thing I've learned about having pulmonary hypertension is I can't do anything about the fact that I got it, but I can do everything in my power to be as healthy as possible, mind, body, and soul, so that I'm as strong as possible to fight the pulmonary hypertension. I can't fix my lungs, but I can choose my nutrition. I can choose to move my body. I can choose to take a deep breath. I can choose a spiritual practice. I can choose to follow hobbies that make me happy. And when I do all of those things, I'm better off to fight the PH that I can't choose. And when you're critically ill, it matters how you learn to accept the disease. So I had to learn to, as often as possible, stop fearing dying and focusing more on living. And when I was able to make that paradigm shift in my head and choose to do what I could when I could, that's when I found my hope, and that's when things turned around. Yeah, so the biggest difference in care between pulmonary hypertension in the UK versus the United States is most likely our healthcare systems. We do not have universal health care. We are either under private insurance or insurance that's meant to be assistance for people with disabilities. And that is a very, very challenging situation because it also varies company by company and state by state. Even if you're very well insured, it's still very, very expensive. So you can have copays in the hundreds up to thousands of dollars. You might owe $7,000 before your insurance kicks in. It's called a high deductible plan. So we struggle a lot to get coverage. There's help. There is a variety of things a patient can choose, like third-party charitable assistance if they are able to find a fund that's open. The drug companies have assistance programs. Sometimes the specialty pharmacies are able to help, but those funds open and close based on what money is available. So it can be very, very challenging. Personally, I'm in favor of a national healthcare system. I think that healthcare is a human right, and that there's so much that can be done when healthcare is not solely a for-profit system like it is in the United States. Those insurance industry, they make a lot of money. And I pay a lot of money, and it's so stressful and challenging to access our medications. I think that patients in the UK are very, very lucky not to have those battles.